Now, I don't find this easy to articulate, but I know my history and my identity of my roots. But this is about seeing your history or identity and being able to disconnect from it, kind of denounce part of your history so that you don't become a victim or you don't become connected to and entrenched in your history or your narrative of who you were. Often it's easier to see in others their narratives, the way they speak, the way they dress, their narratives of this is my life, this is who I am, this is where I'm from, this is me. But that is very binding and very difficult to grow and move forward if you entrench your identity from your history. Because we've all had different histories. We've all had ups and downs. But it's very easy to get not necessarily in the victimization mindset, but in the mindset of this is where I'm from, so this is where I'm going to stay, and this is who I am, and I'm being honest and authentic to my beliefs. Often our belief structures are wrapped up in our history. So, although it is part of us, we've got to accept it and be able to move past it to be able to grow. For example, myself, I was brought up on a local housing estate, local authority housing estate. And many of my friends and family were on similar estates. Now, there's nothing wrong with that housing estate. It's there for the people, to help the people. But it's a good idea to try and grow and move past that if you can, if you have the opportunity. It's not for everybody. Not everybody's able to better themselves. Some people are really stuck with that narrative, and it's also their future because they choose it to be. I chose it not to be my future, and many others around me also chose to slowly but surely sort of dig themselves out of financial issues and financial problems and situational issues and slowly move up. I don't want to say the ladder because I don't have a house. I know people that don't have houses, but have slowly made themselves better people. I don't know whether that's just because of time or the generation, but moving forward and growing and changing your surroundings can really help you become a more valuable individual to yourself. Not to anybody else, but to yourself. You can sometimes build more value within yourself if you see the value in educating yourself to life and to books. It's a way of letting go. For a good example of this would be the Nazis in Germany. Now, I've been to Nuremberg and seen, pardon me if I pronounce that wrong, Nuremberg, where the Nazi party showground was. And there's a lot of information boards in English and in German. And it's really, really interesting to see that the people kind of own it. Yeah, we had a bad time. We were, duped, for want of a better word, or something like that. They were sort of all sucked into it. And that was bad. And they moved forward from it. They built their cities up again and they've learnt from it. When you go there, the people are really, really nice, really friendly. But these information boards, again, was kind of humbling and honest and moving forward to grow and change and help everybody else learn from their mistakes. So it's not easy to move forward, but policing yourself and implementing strategies of listening to those that you respect, those that are in a place where you want to be. Those are the people you want to listen to help navigate through these, how do I put it, difficult to identify negative markers of maybe your history or your narrative of where you are now. But it does give you an immense amount of freedom, because you're kind of letting go of guilt. So I've got a history, not just of where I was born, but things that have happened to me over the years and my relationships. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm not an angel myself, but things have happened to me. But I don't want that to be my narrative of where I'm going forwards. You know, I want to be that shining star that other people look at and think, well, you know, he's doing all right for himself. He's done well. And I don't mean financially, because money comes and goes. But as a person in my heart and my soul, or whatever you want to call it, being able to move forward freely without guilt and without strong ties and connection to some of the darker times in your life, or some of your past that held you back from growing, is a really, well, I said, freeing feeling. So although we all have history and we all have ancestry, and we can be proud of that, but we need to be proud of that with the ability to move forward and not allow our history and our negative, bad memories jade us in moving forward. So trying to let go and accepting and moving forward of those negative, bad history. Like I said, denouncing some of that history, becoming free to have an open mind of where you're going in the future. Because you always need to be striving forward and striving for a better life, a better person, and to be able to give back to other people. So, like I said, not forgetting, but able to accept it and move forward in a positive way. Everybody's got their demons in the closet, skeletons in the closet, and their demons in their history. But accepting that and moving forward really helps you grow as an individual. If you've got any similar stories or similar thoughts on the subject, it's very interesting that I like to hear other people's stories. So if you want, just share them in the link below. But that's all I wanted to say, really, is, you know, carving out your own narrative and your own future without the ties and strings of some of the darker parts of your history. That's a way to move forward. All right, that's it. Like I said, any other comments, put them down below, and I'll look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Bye bye for now.